Hello everyone, and I want to welcome you to Module 4, Critical Thinking. In this module, we'll be starting the 7-step critical thinking model that you'll find in your textbook, the critical thinking application process, as we'll often refer to it. And this assignment for this week is the first step, the first 3 parts of that, the identification, the research, and the analysis. Now, I'm making this video to give you guys the information to have at home when you're working on it. We'll also discuss it in class, but it's very important that you take this assignment very seriously because all the rest of what we do for this model hinges off this first assignment. So if you decide this is the assignment you're going to blow off and not do, you'll still have to create all this information before doing next week's assignment, okay? Because the applying act utilitarianism in Module 5 comes back to this. The applying const deontology in Module 6 comes back to this. And then the reflection and evaluation and all that stuff in Module 7 also comes back to this. So it's very important that you start off right and start off strong on this assignment because miscues in this one will throw you off for the rest, okay? So when you come into the module, it has the instructions here for the assignment as usual. And you'll notice it says, first read this case included in this module, old-fashioned grandparents. Now, I've been speaking about this case a lot in class in regard to just mentioning it over and over and asking you to look at it. This is the case you must use. If you use anything other than this case, you'll get a 0 for the assignment. The case is here. This is what we're doing together as a class, okay? So first, you're going to come through and you're going to read this specific scenario. And then you're going to start your critical thinking application process. Basically, you're looking to identify a stakeholder who has to make a decision. We call that person the decision maker. And then 4 options that person can take to kind of solve the moral issue. And then we're going to think about how that affects that person and the other people involved in this case, okay? So make sure you look at this case study, okay? And then you're going to apply these instructions to it. So if you read through the instructions, which I'm not going to do for you on this video because obviously you could do those yourself, I'll hit the key points. What we're looking to do is to identify the main moral issue. We've done this before in Module 2, that 1-sentence bold print, you know, should Bob, what should Bob? It's a should question. It's either a yes or no about a specific thing or a what should, okay? Whichever method you guys like, it's up to you. I've been seeing a balance of the 2, that's fine. Then for the research, you're going to select 3 areas of research that your decision maker could research to gain information about the decisions they may or may not want to make. And then you're going to write 3 to 4 sentences about each one, talking about what would the decision maker hope to discover from this? How would it help the decision maker come to a final decision? You know, what is it that this particular thing, what area does it address or discuss? That kind of stuff. Just to show, like, we would look for this and this is why, okay? And then your analysis chart is a really important part because this is what we're going to need for the rest of the project. You're going to identify at least 4 options and 4 stakeholders. Now be sure to label your first stakeholder as the decision maker. This is not optional. We need this. Whoever you put at the top of the list is your decision maker. Label them as such and then fill everybody else in, okay? And then the stakeholders that you have to fill in, just keep these in mind. These are people or entities or businesses that represent people who would be affected by the outcome the decision maker chooses. Now, sometimes you'll find enough people in the case to get 4. If not, you may have to think outside of the people who are actually listed and think of other people who may be affected, okay? You never know, like friends, family members, coworkers, stuff like that, depending on the situation, okay? All options must be within the control of that central person, that decision maker. So when we say, should Bob do X, Y, Z, the 4 options need to be things that Bob can do himself. We're not going to ask other people to do something for us. So like, should Jack report Jill is an option that we've seen before, right? You can't say Jill should turn herself in because Jill isn't the decision maker. Likewise, I don't want to see you say Jack should talk to Jill about turning herself in, because ultimately that still requires Jill to do something to get to that final decision. So these are all 4 things that your decision maker has control over and can do themselves. If you have any questions on that, please ask me about it, okay? And then once you have your decision maker, your list of stakeholders, your 4 options, you're going to fill in that chart about how each person's affected. And I'm going to show you an example here in a second, okay? This tells you how to fill out your chart. This gives you all the Dropbox rules, okay? This assignment is going to be due Sunday, February 7th by 11:59 p.m. I know it's the Super Bowl that day. If you plan on watching the Super Bowl, don't wait until the end of the day to do this assignment. Get it done accordingly, okay? So when you come here, you'll see that there's a sample format: identification, research, and analysis. As always, I want you to use this as an extension of the assignment instructions. I'm looking for it to look like this, okay? So what you have here is you have your title, you have your APA page. Make sure we're getting our page numbers. A lot of people are forgetting that. We got our title page requirements. We have the title again on the second page. People are missing that. And I want you to follow this format. A number 1, Roman numeral 1, right? Roman numeral. Identification. Go down. Bolded sentence. Should Bob do such and such? Okay, space. 2, research. A list of 3. Research topic, 3 to 4 sentences. Research topic, 3 to 4 sentences. Research topic, 3 to 4 sentences. Real simple, okay? And then section 3, analysis, and this is your chart, okay? You'll notice there's no reference page on this because we're not really citing anything for this particular assignment. Okay, so I've got one, like a little mini sample here for you to take a look at in this video. I got my title page, everything set up. Then I come in here in my identification, little background. This is a hypothetical situation where Bob's got a wife named Mary who's a teacher. He's got a neighbor named George. He comes home one day. George tells Bob that he thinks his wife's been cheating on him because every time he goes off to work, some guy shows up at the house, spends the day there. Bob confronts his wife and turns out, yes, she is cheating. Okay, there's our background. So our question now is, what should Bob do about his wife's infidelity? So that's a nice open-ended question that follows the what should format that would allow us to attach 4 options. You could also ask, should Bob divorce his wife for cheating? Whatever you want. That would be certainly a central ethical issue as well. However you want to pose it. For this particular one, I liked the what should scenario, okay? So what should Bob do about his wife's infidelity, okay? And that's all you have to do for section 1. If you write anything more than that, I'm going to deduct points. This goes back to what we talked about in module 2 where people put entire paragraphs. Follow the instructions. It says 1 bolded sentence, right? Okay. So then section 2, research. This is 3 things that Bob could research to help make with his decision. Number 1, he wants to research divorce law in Florida to see what he's in for if he asks for a divorce. Percent of marriages that survive infidelity, and then trial separations and success in marriages, because maybe he wants to see, if there's a chance that they can separate and work things out. There'll be 3 to 4 sentences under each one of these explaining what Bob would be looking to gain from this, how it would help him make a decision, etc., okay? And then finally, we get to the chart. Now, the analysis chart is very important for you guys to do it just like this. As I mentioned a moment ago, we have Bob here. He's our decision maker. You must label him decision maker, and you must put the decision maker up first. Then after that, I'm going to list stakeholders. The ones I've chosen for here, obviously Bob's a stakeholder because he's a decision maker. Mary, his wife's a stakeholder because she's affected by the decision Bob makes. George is a stakeholder, the neighbor, because he's the one who gave Bob this information. And Mary's boyfriend's a stakeholder because he's the one that Mary is cheating with. Okay, so I've got my 4 stakeholders. And then I've got 4 options laid out that Bob can do. One option is you can always do nothing, right? Bob can do nothing about his wife cheating. Just pretend like it's not happening. Bob can divorce his wife due to her cheating. Bob can separate from his wife to see if they can work things out before getting divorced. Bob can report his wife to the ethics board for teachers. Now, that sounds a little crazy and harsh, but she's a teacher, and there's a specific moral code that licensed teachers are supposed to live by, and infidelity is actually a violation of that, and Bob could get her in trouble at her job if he felt like being petty. That's always an option. The options don't have to be great. There are options, and the code, the ethical frameworks, that we're going to apply to them will tell us if they're good options or not. I mean, one option somebody could do is blackmail somebody in a situation. May not be the best one, but it's an option they could take. So just keep that in mind. 4 unique options that Bob could take in this situation. Then what you do is you fill in how each person is affected by that option. So I did it for one option so you guys can see. Option 1, Bob can do nothing about his wife cheating. Okay. Bob would feel bad knowing that his wife was continuing to cheat on him. Mary, she would be happy because she could continue with her affair without consequence. George, the neighbor, he would be happy because he would not feel as though he broke up Bob and Mary's marriage. Mary's boyfriend, he would be happy because he would be able to continue his relationship with Mary as if nothing happened. Okay, so we filled that all in. We do that 3 more times for the rest of the chart. Please use, sentences or phrases for this. Don't give me 1 or 2 word answers, happy, sad, unhappy. I want you to show that there's some thought behind this, that you've really thought about how they would be affected. Don't worry about being 100% accurate or perfect with these. Remember, this is subjective to how you see it, how you think Bob would be affected, how you think Mary would be affected. So just try your best to fill in what you think that person would be feeling in that scenario. When you've done that for all 4, you're done. Save your file, submit it to the Dropbox by 11:59 Sunday night, and then we're done with that section of the critical thinking application process. So watch the video, read the instructions, take notes in class. If you have any additional questions after that, please email me and ask me so we can get it sorted out before you turn in your assignment. All right, other than that, I'll see you guys in class, and good luck with this assignment this week.